All right, in this video, I am going to show how to look at your stroke color. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a simple shape. And by default, if you haven't done any other work and it doesn't remember what you did last, the default is that you're going to have a white fill and a black stroke. And so we can adjust these in a number of ways. Here in the toolbar, if you click onto that icon, so if you're clicking for the fill color, as long as it's sitting on top of the other box, then it's active. So then if you go over here to your colors, that's going to be the one that's changing. Same thing up here under your color, since it's active. If you change the color, that's what it's going to change to. You can switch that by just clicking on, up here in the little color. Mine pops open automatically. Yours might not. You could do it here as well. And that way, that's what's active. So, for instance, if you don't want a stroke or a fill, you have it active here in the toolbar. You can click down and click none, and that way it gets rid of it. You can also switch here in a little swap fill and stroke. But we're talking about stroke colors today. So I do want to have a fill color. I'm just going to make it white just so we can all get a sense of what the stroke does. And then I'm going to click over here in your properties panel to the word stroke. And then I'm just going to pick a stroke color that we can actually see. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And right now the stroke weight is set to 1 point. And that's default. We can make it thicker or thinner. So if you click the drop down arrow, you can see there's some basic point sizes. And then if I click and drag up on that slider, you can see I've got thinner. So it goes from 0.25 points all the way up to 100 points. This is what I want to show you. So I just set it to 100 points so we could see max. What you see in blue is the outside of that box that I made. So you can see that when we increase or decrease the stroke weight, that it increases both on the inside and the outside of that line. So whatever shape you're doing, both the inside and the outside, it's going to increase, which is good in some aspects and then gets in our way in others. So there's some ways that we can adjust these. If you click into the word stroke, you have some options. So I just click the word stroke, and then you can see that we've got cap, corner, align, stroke. Cap and corner, this is by default. We have a butt cap and a miter join. So this is how it reacts to corners. We can do a round cap and a round corner, and you can see it rounds those edges. We can do beveled, so you can see it kind of does a beveled edge on each corner. But we also have here, I'm just going to put it back to miter. And so then we have a line stroke. So by default, it aligns stroke to that center edge. There's the edge right there, and it increases size on both sides of that line equally. The center one is aligned to inside. So then when we increase the weight, it just increases on the inside of that outside line. And then lastly, set align stroke to outside. The edge of the line is there, and then as we increase, it just increases on the outside. There's also some cool stuff down under here, like we can add a dashed line. You can see that it's rounded. I can have it squared off. So there's, all of those things change how how the dashed line works. And then you have point size. So that's how long the dash is. So you can change that. You could say, oh, I only want a 5-point dash, but then I want to have a 10-point gap. So now you can see how it reacts to that. So you can change how you want all of that. So you have a lot of control. You can also change how it sits. And there you go. Basic idea of a stroke. Have fun.